Hey, what's up, guys? What's going on? It's Tony again from Tony's Figs. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for some more content I'm going to have in the future. Thank you so much. Looks like we're going to close out the last member of the Long Range Recon Patrol as Wade Collins. So let's just dive right into it. I don't know how much more memory I got on this damn phone, but we'll see and we'll play it by ear. Just gotta get more storage. Okay, so this is another kit bash I did and turned this into Wade Collins. It's got a rich history. Let's see. Looks like what I did here. Again, I used this is a cap, one of the gridiron caps that Wade wears it backwards. This is just a dusty head. Took the face paint off with Winsor Newton. I used it on I think this is another Lieutenant Falcon torso and shoulders with breaker arms. And this was just a quick kit bash, and I had messed it up a little bit. I had gotten some Winsor Newton all over his skin color. I gotta paint that back up, and then I'm gonna go back and I think I'll probably put more camo on the breaker part, the breaker arms part, because I didn't take it off this time of the off the Lieutenant Falcon torso, because I think in Ronan Doodle's kit bash, Digit bash, he's got legs that can go for Outback eggs. Eggs. You can use Outback's legs for him too. He's got the some of the best camo trousers there is, and he matches the other guys. And in the comic, he had camo on his trousers too. So, quick way to finish him up was just for me to put some more camo splotches on here, or take it off the torso. His harness is a Cobra officer. That's what Ronan had. Ronan also had the Cobra officer's web gear on Tommy, but Rock and Roll's torso is too big for it, so I might swap it out with Grunt, and it'll be fine. But we'll see. And I use black gloves for Wade. So again, like I said, dusty head, gridiron hat, Lieutenant Falcon torso, shoulders, breaker arms. Looks like it was the Duke belt with Cobra officer web gear and Outback legs all the way down. That's all he is. That's what I use for Wade. Simple. And then for him, I got another gridiron Alice pack. And there's another machete you've seen so much. He's got like some camo poncho in here for him. He's got a little walkie-talkie in there. Put his radio, canteen, and he's got the carbine, the Car 15, and that's just two-face tape. I mean, it just sticks right on his back real easy, just with a nice push, and that's not going anywhere, and that's good enough for Wade. And then I just stick his rifle in his hand and call it good. Like I said, I'll probably go back and camo his arms up, so he'll be all camo. Certain characteristics of the characteristics of certain characters are different with all LRRP teams. Some of them wear the enemy's clothes, so they can wear what they want. But he'll look better if I camo the arms up. That's all Wade Collins is, man. Give you some history on Wade. Let's see, Wade. He's got some crazy history. Let's see. During the Vietnam War, Wade Collins. Let's see what's going on with this. He was one of the 6-member Long Range Recon Patrol, led by Stalker. It also had Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, Dickie, and Raymond. While operating in the jungle, their patrol got ambushed by the Viet Cong. Saperstein and Escobedo were killed. The others thought Collins had died as well, so they didn't retrieve his body. However, he survived and was captured by the Vietnamese, spending 2 years in a POW camp, just cursing his former comrades for not finishing him off. He was pissed. He just harbored that and held it against them. When the war ended, he came home to face huge public hostility to veterans. It was horrible in real life as well. That's no joke. Whilst his wife divorced him without even seeing him, and few wanted to employ a veteran, he took to wandering in the U.S. Then he came to Springfield and joined Cobra. He found friends, influence, respect, and power, and a sense of belonging. When the Crimson Guard were formed, he was among the first to join. He had plastic surgery, and he became a Fred. That's what happened to Wade Collins. You go in depth more. There's a part of the story where, he follows Snake Eyes and Stalker to the Vietnam War Memorial because they saw he wasn't listed among the dead. He confronted them, tell them he was alive, he had a new face, new name, new life. And he forced them to drive him to New York, and he told them how he survived and joined Cobra, and then he's really pissed off his comrades had never reached out to him. They made him realize how he'd been used by Cobra, though. Well, his comrades, I'm sorry, his buddies reached out to him and told him he was used. Stalker got through to him. When they reached the Broca home, because he took Fred Broca's place and adopted his kids. That's what you do as a Crimson Guardsman. One of them go down, somebody else comes in and takes over the family. It's freaking crazy. They started a new life. So then fast forward to Sean Collins, his adopted son, Fred Broca's son. He grew up and he was about to turn 17, and he wanted to enlist in the Army. Wade, he was reluctant to sign the papers giving parental permission, but he couldn't talk Sean out of it. So he said, hey, write Snake Eyes and see what he says about soldiering. If you still want to join, I'll sign, but talk to him first. So that's what he did, and that's what I wanted to get into, is the letter that Sean wrote to Snake Eyes and what he wrote back. So when Sean wrote to him, he wanted to ask, hey, what's wrong in serving my country? My dad doesn't want to let me, doesn't want to, sign the papers or anything. He wants me to think about it, but so many people are turning into pieces of shit. I'm like, I want to do something honorable. I want to do something, full of glory, and I want to be a hero. I want to serve like you and my dad did. So he's just asking Snake Eyes for his perspective, an honest perspective. So Snake Eyes writes back to him, Dear Sean, there is no honor or glory in the primary occupation of a soldier. There's only long stretches of interminable boredom punctuated by brief flurries of pure terror. There's no winning. And then what follows is a break from the fantasy, from G.I. Joe to something a little bleaker. Here's where it gets more serious. Ask anyone who sat benumbed in the aftermath of battle, surrounded by stinking, ragged, wet bodies of comrades, hastily covered with ponchos, assailed by the unearthly screaming of the maimed. You talk about glory, and I suppose you mean heroism, and all the accolades that adorn it. I've known some real heroes in my time, but pitifully few of them were the type to jump out of the foxhole and shout, follow me. And it's the Snake Eyes talking to him as he's writing this. And take Raymond Escobedo. He was in the LRRP team with your dad, Storm Shadow, Stalker, and me. One day he got a letter from home. His mom said that his kid brother just graduated from basic training and got his military specialty, infantry. Ramon's tour in Nam was due to end in 3 months. He was a 2-digit midget buku short timer that meant his kid brother would be eligible to ship out to Nam. Ramon wanted to go home to East LA more than anything in the world. But he re-upped and extended his tour so that Uncle Sam couldn't send his brother to Nam and violate the DoD rule against two members of the same family serving simultaneously in a war zone. 2 weeks later, we all walked in that stinking valley where Raymond and Dickie got wasted. Raymond didn't look all that heroic when he died. He just looked surprised. Then Snake Eyes tells a story of Dickie who re-upped to pay for his father's heart surgery. His father didn't survive, and he could have got a compassionate release, but he was determined to keep his end of the deal, and then he was killed by a mine. Stalker didn't join up for glory, honor, or adventure. He was looking to get away from the mean streets of Detroit, the streets that had already killed two of his older brothers. He was determined that his mom would not worry about him, and he went to an elaborate means to deceive her. He had a cousin in the engineers in Darmstadt, Germany. Stalker had him take out a post office box there for him, and all of his mother's letters went to Germany, where she thought her son had a safe job in the personnel office. The cousin rerouted all the mail to Vietnam and back. And then we used to sit around the hooch with him to help him make up his whole fairy tale about taking leaves to go see Munich at Oktoberfest and hiking in the Taunus Mountains. He couldn't understand how some other guys could stand to write their own mothers and tell them what it was like over there. He couldn't understand how anybody could have come to Vietnam thinking it would be a great adventure. To him, a great adventure would have been to tool around Germany tasting the beers. Storm Shadow's story is that his family sent him to war, seeing as that a ninja sneak graduate school. Snake Eyes says it was more of a PhD, and that you return from a war as tightly wound killing machine who may appear normal on the outside, but always need to struggle to keep the demons in check. And then he turns on himself. And me? I'm still searching for my reasons. I came home from the war and everything I had was gone. People spat at me in the street and called me a baby killer. I tried making a new start in the family business of his best friend, Storm Shadow. That was a disaster. We all know what happened there. I went to lose myself in the mountains, just brooding and thinking too much, mostly about myself, which is a subject that always leads to trouble. It tends to put the center of the universe in the wrong place. Hawk and Stalker came and found me and took me back into the fold. On one of our first missions in the Middle East, I got caught in a blast from an exploding helicopter. There wasn't much they could do for my appearance after that. My voice, well, I could never carry a tune anyway. I had to get used to the fact that people tend to stare fixedly on the top button on my shirt when they talk to me. I still wake up in a cold sweat on Tuesday mornings. Tuesdays was a debriding day at the Army Hospital burn unit where I recovered. There was never any way to shut out the screams of the burn victims as dead tissue was flayed off them. Me, I couldn't have screamed if I wanted to. I was relatively lucky. I still had most of a face. One of them, his name was Travis. He kept begging me to smother him with a pillow because he was so burned. I met some guys who didn't have ears, nose, lips, or eyelids. You know, I never got a welcome party or a parade or anything whenever I came back home. Whenever I came back from some horrible place, stinking of burnt smoking powder, JP4, bug juice, and sweat. Just as well, I tend to make people uncomfortable. If you are going to be a soldier, don't expect to be appreciated. Don't expect a nation to be grateful. Don't expect a pension that you can live on without food stamps. Expect to see the worst that humanity has to offer. Nastiness to the nth degree, vileness, meanness, total despicable cruelty, and unspeakable humanity. Expect to see the best that humanity has to offer. Selfless bravery, compassion, honor, and dignity in the face of pure death. After all the discouragement, do I have any regrets about being a soldier? Not a one. I had the privilege and honor of serving with men and women who I could depend on utterly. I had courage. I had comrades lay down their lives for me, and I would have gladly laid down mine for them. How many other occupations engender such camaraderie? But then this bearing of arms in the defense of the Constitution of the United States of America is not really a profession per se. It's a trust. And after reading Snake Eye's letter, Sean decides he needs to put more thought into it. In one universe, he'll become Snake Eye's ninja apprentice. In another, he will join the Joe team as a more conventional soldier. So that's what's going on with Snake Eyes Letter to Sean. I thought it was really cool. And you could tell that Larry Hama went through some of that stuff. Or he had stories from some friends, from some buddies in the Army when he was in Vietnam. And he relived them and put them to paper in this comic book called G.I. Joe. Pretty intense stuff. Just wanted to share. Thank you for taking this ride with me. And closing the book on the LRRP team. I'll have some pictures right after this. Thanks so much. And just remember, whenever I'm at work on the ambulance or whenever I'm in Home Depot and I come across the Vietnam veterans, the old guys who's got the hats, you know, all the caps you see with Vietnam veteran, Vietnam vet, just try to be a little bit nicer to them if they're nice to you. And just go out of your way. I do. I try to go out of my way because of what they faced and what happened to them over there. And be thankful that they came back. My uncle, my mom's brother, he came back. He got to come back from Vietnam, and he's almost my best friend. My mom's cousin Alfonso didn't get to come back. He was killed over there. So even, you know, just making these Vietnam figures with what's gone on a little bit in my family, it kind of touches you a little bit. It makes you more aware of, you know, the soldiers that are out there and what they came back to. It wasn't a good war, man. We lost that shit. So, anyways, thanks, guys. That's it for the Long Range Recon Patrol Team. It was fun making them. Thanks for being here. Like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next one.